did not suffer from generalized anxiety disorder and could appreciate his actions when he shot and killed Steenkamp. Now, if the defense wraps their case, the judge will postpone the matter for a few weeks before final arguments can be presented. Pistorius has pleaded not guilty to 4 charges, including the murder of his girlfriend Reeva Steenkamp on Valentine's Day last year. The trial started in March. Pistorius has maintained he thought Steenkamp was an intruder when he fired the 4 shots. Now, for the latest, we are joined live from Pretoria by our reporter Griselda Lewis. Griselda, you had a very busy morning this morning. Good morning to you. And can you tell us now, the court adjourned early today. Briefly take us through this morning what happened.
Well, a very good morning to you, Elvis. Well, certainly a very short day in court on the 39th day of the Oscar Pistorius murder trial. And as you said, yes, it has been postponed to the 7th and the 8th of August for the heads of arguments here inside the North Gauteng High Court. But of course, on the 30th of July, the state needs to submit its heads of argument. And on the 4th of August, the defense will have its chance then to submit its heads of argument. Then officially on the 7th and the 8th, the defense and the state will come head to head inside this court to come and argue for the very last time what their case has been. The state always maintaining that Oscar Pistorius had shot and killed Reeva Steenkamp in a fit of rage. The defense has always maintained that it was an absolute mistake. Oscar Pistorius did not know what he was doing. He thought that there was an intruder in his home on that day. But certainly one of the most sensational trials that this country has seen, that has gripped both local and international headlines. South Africa's judicial system also very much in the spotlight in South Africa. We've seen the likes of 2 phenomenal legal eagles, if I may, come head to head in the form of Gerinel as well as advocate Barry Roux and their other supporting lawyers. But certainly, you know, this is the first part of the trial that has come to an end. But certainly what we'll be looking forward to is those heads of argument, because that will be seen as the last part on both sides to really hit the nail in the coffin, if I may, with what they believe Judge Thokozile Masipa should take into account when she does reach her decision on Oscar Pistorius. Now, the heads of argument, as I've indicated, will be argued on the 7th and the 8th of August. And then we're expecting maybe Judge Thokozile Masipa, if not at the end of August, sometime in September, to make her ruling on whether Oscar Pistorius will go to jail or not, and to what extent he should be held responsible for shooting and killing Reeva Steenkamp. We saw issues relating to a psychiatric report that was one of the about turns that was taken in this case when he had to be evaluated. You heard the defense just before the case was postponed today, that saying that Leon Fine, one of the psychiatrists, could not testify. They also had problems getting to some of the other witnesses who did not want to appear on television or even have their voices on here as well. We also saw Judge Thokozile Masipa making a ruling that the heads of argument are not to be published or to be broadcast on any media at this stage, or at a later stage for that matter. But certainly we'll be looking forward to what the decision of this court is relating to Oscar Pistorius, who went on to represent South Africa, to put South Africa on the map. It's been certainly a difficult time for both families in this instance. None of them are willing to speak at this time, but certainly what remains to be seen now is who was able to argue their points best in the Oscar Pistorius murder trial, resting their fate in terms of deciding whether Oscar Pistorius and to what extent he'll be held culpable or responsible for Reeva Steenkamp's death.
Now, the leaked video was in the media this weekend, and there was lots of speculations that that might be raised in the trial. That never came to the fore, seems like it.
Well, that was really surprising, Elvis, I must say. It was really quite a talking point here outside court. We're trying to get to experts to find out why that was not the case, because it had been the basis of the argument in this case, whether Oscar Pistorius had intended to shoot and kill Reeva Steenkamp. But the argument, for example, from Professor Wayne Derman, which was the defense's last witness, was that Oscar Pistorius struggles when he's on his stumps. He does not quite have a balance when he's on his stumps, but certainly that that video painting a picture of Oscar Pistorius during that reenactment at his uncle's home, being able to be quite balanced on his stumps, basically a contradiction of what Professor Derman had been saying all along, that Oscar Pistorius finds difficulty balancing on his stumps. So surprising that that did not come up in court, but one of the, at least legal experts that we spoke to, said that the state might have seen it. Perhaps you would recall when Gerinel was going through his cross-examination with Professor Derman, he asked Professor Derman whether Oscar Pistorius, in his demonstrations to him, was able to walk backward and forward, and there were certain concessions that were made by Professor Derman, where he said that despite what happened, Oscar Pistorius' intention when he shot through that door was to kill whoever was behind that door. A serious concession made by the defence's last witness, and also that Oscar Pistorius, for example, did not exhaust all options to get out of the house. He said that Oscar Pistorius did not take the opportunity to perhaps walk out of there. That's another serious concession, in that he had previously testified that Oscar Pistorius could not have fled because of his vulnerability relating to his disability. So a lot relating to challenges that disabled people face in South Africa and around the world, taking center stage in Professor Wayne Derman's testimony.
Thank you so much, Griselda Lewis from Pretoria, the Pretoria High Court there, giving us an update on what happened this morning.